Hello everyone. This is Brother Benson and I'm joined with Miguda. Miguda, habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu, hali yako vipi?
Hali iko shwari, naweza sema hivyo. Hali iko shwari, labda tu kwako wewe ndio nataka kusikiliza. Wewe iko vipi?
Niko salama, mimi niko salama jioni hii. Niko vyema tu, naburudika tu polepole.
Unajua, kuna wakati leo tu nilikuwa nasikiza baadhi ya nyimbo fulani, ama tunaweza sema kwamba baadhi ya shairi ambao zilitungwa kusifu nchi. Kuna ingine ilikuwa inaimba ewe Kenya mama yangu, ewe Kenya baba yangu. Unajua hiyo tena. Kuna ingine pia nilikuwa ni gani tena? Nimesahau hiyo ingine, lakini kuna baadhi ya nyimbo ambao zilitungwa na wakongwe sana sana, wale nyimbo za kusifu nchi na nyimbo ya kuita kwanza Kenya ni mama. Ni kwa nini unapata kwamba mara mingi nchi huwa zinachukua hiyo la mama si la baba? Unapata kwamba mama Afrika, Kenya ni mamangu, vitu kama hizo.
Unapata katika familia kuna baba na mama na kuna watoto. Na wakati wa uzazi unapata wawili, baba na mama wanahusika, lakini yule mwenye anabeba mtoto kwa miezi misita ni mama. Sasa baadaye mama huenda ukazaa mtoto. Na sisi sote kwa mfano kama Wakenya tulipatikana Kenya. Sasa Kenya ni mama yetu juu Kenya ndio imetuzaa, niseme hivyo, na Kenya ndio imetubeba, na vile vile sisi ni Waafrika. Sasa unapata hata ukienda sehemu zingine za nchi, kwa mfano ukienda pahali ambapo mambo ya kilimo inafanya vizuri, wanasema hiyo sehemu ni sehemu mama, ama ni hiyo sehemu iko na sifa za mama, ya kwamba hii yetu ni kuambia kwa lugha ya Kijaluo, lakini wanasema ati hiyo sehemu ni iko na sifa za mama juu mama ndio baba mtoto, mama uzaa. So hiyo sehemu kuna mazao mazuri za kilimo. Sasa vile mama pia ako na mazao mzuri. Unapata kwa mara mingi wanasemanga ati kazi ya baba ni kupeana mbegu na mwanamke ni kiumbe kizuri ambaye ukimpatia mbegu na kupatia mtoto.
Ndio maana labda unapata kwamba ukiwa nchi za mbali, labda tuseme kwamba ukiwa nchi za ngamo utapata kusikia mtu anasema mimi I'm going back to my motherland. Na motherland sana sana, ukitafsiri vizuri katika dunia, kuna tuseme kwamba Afrika ndio huwa watu wanaita motherland. Sijui kwa nini. Ushagundua hiyo? There's no any other continent that people will always refer as motherland. It's only Africa. I don't know whether you've come across such information. Okay. As we are still waiting for Miguda. So that's what usually happening. Let me take this opportunity to thank the following: that Brenda Obedi, thank you so much. And also Judith, also thank you so much for joining. Mr. Miguda, are you back?
I'm back.
I was saying this, like, if you listen to when you go across the world, globally, there's only one continent that always is referred as motherland. That is Africa. That we are going back to the motherland. Why do we say that Africa is a motherland? And so this other continent, people do not refer them as motherland.
I think when people refer to Africa as motherland, mostly people tend to give reference to evolution theory. When you understand evolution theory by Charles Darwin, it's very clear that remains of the people from Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapien to Homo sapiens sapiens were found in Africa.
How to check if someone's spying? So that one could be the reason. Today, I don't know what's happening with the Miguda mic. Anyway, we will continue as we wait for Miguda to fix it. And it, I think also going by what Miguda said, that it is due to the evolution theory that majority of us were taught when we were in high school, if I'm not wrong. And another thing that might be contributing to Africa to be referred as motherland, when you look at the colonization and when you look at the slave trade, you will find that the majority of population that were traded basically were Africans. So when you go to countries like to America, where the slave trade, the Europe and all that, you will realize that Africans were the goods that were traded then. So, which means they left their home country, and after leaving their home country, so they were, the forefathers were in those countries, and that's where they gave birth to their children. So, majority of the time, when they read their history, they know that they came from Africa. So, and that Africa is their motherland. So that's why, like you find, could be they refer it as the motherland. Yes, Miguda.
So Charles Darwin has delved into history, and whenever people are doing history, they refer to Charles Darwin.
Okay, Miguda, I think there's something wrong with your internet, or I don't know, because like I keep on losing you. I don't know what we will do. Hello, Miguda. Okay, sawa. As we still wait for Miguda to at least work on his audio, and we will go to the conversation of today, the highlights of the day that I want to share with you is about one. This is the highlight of the day. Is that the court blocks privatization of Kenya pipeline? That is one. And also we have sad news here, especially from people of Malava, especially to the UDA, UDA Democratic Alliance aspirant in the upcoming Malava by-election, Dr. Enoch Adanji, has died after collapsing during public event on Friday. And Adanja was attending Widows Empowerment Forum in Malava. That was also graced by Prime Minister Secretary Musalia Mudavadi when he suddenly collapsed. Efforts to resuscitate him at the venue were unsuccessful, and he was rushed. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The cause of the death has not yet been confirmed, but local authorities say the postmortem examination will conduct to establish what happened. So Malaba Sub-County UDA Secretary Harrison Tanga said Adanje was arriving at the function when he developed complications. He said his feet became weak and he could not leave his vehicle. He was rushed to Oasis Hospital where he was confirmed dead. So that is the story that we have. We take this opportunity to condole with the family, and we pray for God to give them strength during this trying moment. And to the fraternity of UDA, we also say sorry for your loss, for your aspirant. Hopefully you will find a way of maybe getting someone, but it's a big blow to the party, especially the UDA and the people of Malava themselves and the family of Dr. Adanji. Miguda, you're back? Okay, as we still wait for Miguda too, there's also something here that I got from Orioba. These are just trending issues. I would also want to share with you about Orioba, and this is what the senator, good senator. I feel that he, the president, doesn't really care at this moment about what the public says. And I feel like the people who have surrounded him haven't put him in a bubble that makes him believe he has enough time to turn these things around with handouts. The issue of handouts is something that Miguda. Oh, the issue of handouts actually is something that has been in the public domain, and you know it is something that should be discussed, especially when we find that the handout, especially in politics, is being used as a tool, maybe to empower, or as a tool to make sure that you, or the politician might use it to um, garner support, or to um, get loyalty from the people. But at the end of the day, does it really brings change to the people if we are used to giving handouts? You know, because handouts are not long-term sustainability; they are short-lived. And if you look at the amount that is given, especially for handouts, they are they're not significant. They give it to you in such a way that tomorrow you will also you will also have that eager to have more. And this is what I say, that quenching the thirst. You know, sometimes when you are thirsty, when you get the water, you will drink the water, but it will just only quench the thirst. But at the end of the day, you will need water for another day, or after some time, or after a duration of time. Meguda, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, bro.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
having some
Today,
difficulties, but I think right now I've resolved. Technology, imekuwa technology. I don't know, but I think now we are on the right track.
okay, thank you so much. And we just about to start our conversation. I was just reading something that I quote from the nominated Senator Gloria Oruoba, and she had an interview, and she was talking about the president, on especially when it comes to issue, talking about the people who are surrounding the president, and also talking about the issue of the handouts that is the norm of the politics that we have today, especially like the empowerment that has come, that the president, the government is rolling. And you know, I was having a conversation again about that, because like let's say like talk about the incidents that happened in Malawi, especially where they lost an aspirant. How many widows do we have in Kenya?
We have many widows. There are more widows in Kenya,
Yeah,
both
but how?
elderly and young.
Yeah, so how can we, if to say that we want to empower widows, how can we do it in a way that everybody benefits? What is the best
I
criteria
think
that we
we
should use?
should. I think we should have a criteria whereby we do, like the issue of pesa kwa wazee, the ones
Mm,
which is being rolled, that the elderly people are being given money.
mm,
I think we
mm,
should roll out whereby widows are being paid.
mm. Okay, but now the reason why I'm saying this, because like let's say where the prime cabinet secretary was, he was in Malava constituency, and we know what is going to happen in Malaba. They are in there's a mini poll that is going to take place in 2 months, if I'm not wrong, and this is where he was going to empower the women. Do you think the empowerment of the widows, especially in that areas, was informed by the by-election that is coming, or it is something that has always been in their itinerary, and it has been not necessarily itinerary, has been somewhere in their master plan of the projects that they need to do, or you know, if you look at it. Okay, thank you so much. I think like today we have a problem with the Biguda, and that's where like sometimes we need to question when we are doing it. Are we doing it in good faith, or we are doing it especially to get some favors, or to make the voters have, especially voting in another way, in belief that this is the empowerment and now we need to vote for this. We need to vote at this particular manner, you know. So that is something that should be discussed. And that is some, yesterday when we were talking about and how we are using our resources. How are we using our resources, especially that can create impact? That, for instance, if the empowerment that is being rolled by the government, yes, is a good thing, but how impactful it is. It is a short-term impact or is a long-term impact. But and you look at the constituency or you look at country as a whole, are you going to do that, especially to the women of Garissa too? Are you going to do that to the women of Mombasa, the widows, and all that? You have those statistics and know that these are all widows who we are having, and this is amount of the money or amount of money that we should give them, or this is the amount that we should empower them. So that is talking about coming up with a, a framework that everybody will benefit, that is not very selective. Yeah. And that is very selective, because like that one also made us to question, especially when you saw the president hosted young people, especially in in State House Nairobi. Yeah. And people tend to think, okay, that is discrimination, because like you've taken a few of them, but there's a larger chunk of young people who still needs that empowerment. Where are you putting them at? Today, like the other day, it was Nairobi. When are we going to see? And that was just a part of Nairobi alone. It was not the entire Nairobi. You know, it was not the entire Nairobi County. When are we going to see young people from Kiambu County also coming and getting all these empowerment materials? When are we going to see also young people from Migori? When are we going to see young people from Kisumu? When we're going to, from all over the country, and trooping into the State House and getting this empowerment? Yeah. But if you do it only for one region, then it means it 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 is not share it not being shared equally. So those are just some of the questions that, okay, we need to have a conversation. If empowerment is done, you have to do empowerment across the country and all the youth. So that one create that everybody is going to be busy. But if you do it sectionally, then that becomes a problem. Yes, Miguda, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. You know, this one is beyond me. This one is technology. I can't control it.
So technology is disciplining you.
Technology is doing for me ile kitu.
Yeah.
I think by God's grace we are going to make progress.
Amen. Okay. Maybe before we dive into the discussion of today, because we know Rigathi Gachagua will be coming in the country. He will be returning back from the long tour of USA, where he had engagement with diaspora. And when you look at the engagement of Rigathi Gachagua in the USA and is coming back, the impact in terms of politics, we want to discuss about that. And we're also going to look at as it, when you look at the part of the president and SLI, are they panicked? As people say that they had panicked about the return of Rigathi Gachagua. So let's before we go into that discussion, I was just talking about the empowerment, you know, and how can we make it, because it's something that we've been talking about for quite some time now. How can we make it to become very effective, especially in the country, because we know Hustler Fund is no longer working. That is something that we cannot talk about, because we see the Hustler Fund, you know, the president allies are doing the empowerment, and they've set that pace. How can we do it so that everybody has to benefit? Not that we cherry pick. We say that today we are doing it in Malava constituency, maybe because an upcoming by-election, just to make people vote in another way. We want to see you doing it to all widows that we have, because we have quite a number.
That's a good question. And for it to be effective, I believe it is always good to allow what was done by Uhuru administration. and it's ongoing. Pesa kwa wazee, whereby anybody who has reached the age of 60 and above or 65, who was not civil servant, who don't have any pension, or who not a widow to any civil servant who is earning any pension, is guaranteed of, I think they were given 6,000 every month.
Yeah.
And most of the people are getting that money, the wazee and the nyanyas, but you find out that there are some people who are not earning it. So they should liaise with the chief for the registration, so that pesa ya wazee sasa ikuwe pesa ya wajane wapatiwe pesa, thereby widows, even they, because we don't have only old widows, we have younger widows. There are those widows who are younger. They should be enrolled into that kitty, whereby they are being given money for, like, it should be a system whereby monthly earning, like there was this, and they should also be subjected to loans. They can get loans from the bank, and also they can get some products, like maybe what currently is being done to the pensioners. They can get tanks, they can get portion meal under a loan, and they can get some electronics devices like television, maybe Uber. So at least, because there are some kids who are left behind, the younger one who must go to school. So whenever at least you have your earning of 6,000 per month, you can educate a person who was left. But even if you are left with 3 kids, at least you are guaranteed that at least they will go to school, because it's that money alone you can even borrow loan for education, and even you are guaranteed for health insurance, the so-called SHA. They can ensure they deduct from that money. So if you enroll that amount to the widows or to the elderly people, you are guaranteed to secure the future of the all elderly and the future of the widows in the country, by catering for their health, and catering for their kids' education, and also catering for their food, because they need to consume food as they are living, as they are also educating the younger people. I think that is the way to go, because for wazee is there, and even there's some find that there are wazees who are educating their grandsons and granddaughters. If maybe the parents happen to have died before they educate the kids, so you find out they are going to bank to borrow loan to educate their grandson, and even you find the wazees who are having good heart, they extend their gratitude to their grandsons and daughters so that they can go to school. It should also be applicable to widows, rather than going through empowerment, because this is an empowerment. After we have elected them, they will stop empowering us.
So let's talk about the empowerment that we see, because like the empowerment, basically, I think it's to me, from my opinion, it's kind of like politically driven, and it's driven with a certain narrative that each and every day we go. And do you feel that immediately after 2027 the empowerment will continue, or this is something that is a short-lived in the political field, and is it for the benefit of the people, or it is for the benefit of the politicians that are doing it, especially who benefits most? Because, for instance, before you come in, my brother, for instance, you find that when you look at the cost effectiveness, that is what we call, you're doing business analysis, this is what we call the cost effective. And the cost effective is that you look at the expenses and the income, or the expenses. In this case, we might talk about the expenses. What the expenses that when you're attending that particular empowerment, the resources that are put in place versus the resources that are given out. Because you find maybe we have almost like around 5 members of parliament, and all of them have come with the choppers. Then from the choppers, there's also that entourage that will drop them to the place where they're going to be. So that is where now you look at the impact of it. The expenses versus what is given. If you look at Bring You Back, especially where there were people, especially the mother who was saying that 64 shillings, where they got 64 shillings. But like, if you see, if you look at the 64 shillings that they got, and the fuel and the expenses, the hotel where the members of parliament, even the earlier preparation before the main event, the money that has been used just only to make sure that that event is successful versus what is being given out, so you look at the cost effectiveness. So it is cost effectiveness because I feel like what is being given is way much less than the expenses that they undergo, or the expenses that are used to make those meetings successful. So that is something that also, it's just a matter of talking and asking questions, and letting us know. Um, we can also talk about the impact. The impact can be positive or negative. Yes, Miguda.
Yeah, that's why I was saying going to the 2027 election,
Yeah.
it can be used so that they can get the voters from the widows. You understand, women are emotional, and if you appeal to them, if you speak to their emotions, they're likely gonna vote for you. That's what they're trying to do. And if you target widows because they are husbandless, let me say like that, no one is there to control them on that decision.
Yeah.
They'll just consider that, okay, you gave us portion meal, or you gave us other things or money in our circle as women empowerment. Now we have decided unanimously to vote for 2 term. That one can be done. So the question is, after our elections, are we going to see these politicians going back again to empower women, or they are going to run away from the empowerment because already they have gotten their seat? But I don't see them getting out of empowerment, because remember, when Ruto was campaigning for 2022 elections, he used to empower Boda Boda and Mama Mboga, but he was going to a different region. It was too much in Mount Kenya. But now he has decided to shift in Nyanza.
Okay. All right. So, Miguda, I think today Miguda has a problem with that. I'm seeing Douglas Kibogon. What is your estimated costed to empower? The estimate, I cannot really estimate the cost to empower, but like it's a lot of money. It's running in billions. But like what we have to look at, we look at from what we are gathering, especially if you look at, for example, the empowerment that took place in the State House, for instance, it costed a lot of billion, because like if you look at all the materials that were in place, they were running in billions. But if you look at those who are being given those materials, piki or motorbike, catering, equipments, a car wash, and the tanks and all that, it's a lot of money. But now, if a lot of that money is poured, what is the impact? Because like the impact should be felt. So let's say, for example, some of them, they've never been in business. This is the first time, or some of them have never been in the some of have never been into the business industry, like say for example the motorbike industry. This is the first time that you are having this. And there's also something that comes with it. They're not trained in the first place. They don't have like the license. They've not gone through the training that, as we usually know, um you know yes. So, and you look at, if you give them, yeah, but you don't have proper training for them. Secondly, some of them have never been in the business, yeah. And if they have them, then they go to the business environment, and they find that the business environment may not be favorable for them. What will they do next? They will sell those products. If they sell them, as you empower them, because like immediately you sell those, you come back to your original status. So that is something that I think, but it is. Anyway, Wamunyoro is coming. True, on 21st of August, he will be in Kenya. So we will discuss about that. So Miguda, maybe talk about the empowerment, then we can check or try to have some discussion on the return of Wamunyoro, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Barak, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well, and you?
For a long time I knew you. Good. I'm doing fine. We were still talking about we were still talking about the empowerment. This empowerment. We were talking about the case in Malava where one of the aspirants for UDA lost his life, got complications, especially, and was pronounced dead on arrival of at the hospital. And our question is that it was a women empowerment that the Prime Cabinet Secretary was doing. So we were asking, was this empowerment informed by the decision that there was by election, or this is something that the Prime Cabinet Secretary had it in his itinerary earlier before the by election? The one that are coming.
Well, I had today, so I've not caught up with the news.
Yeah.
So I might not be able to comment effectively to what for that, according to as far as that incident is concerned.
Yeah.
But empowerment is just a name that is given to these activities that are enhancing the politicization of poverty. Whether the politicians are scheming for votes as usual, and they are not intending to help anybody, I don't know, with business skills or to get out of their poverty, to change their life or to transform their life in any way. They are just scheming to get their votes, and that has been the trend of our politicians for long. It's not a new trend; it has been there. They're just giving it new names, and it acquires new players, but the system is just the same. The mechanism is just the same. Keep the population busy. Pretend that you are empowering them, you are transforming their lives, but the intention is just to get their votes or their support for any upcoming election. Once that is done, that is it. You saw that even in the run up to the last election, there were so many activities and poor people being paraded as the target for economic transformation. You remember even the lady who proposed the current president at Bomas during IBC clearance. You remember that lady?
Yes.
It was just to show you that we are together, and our objective is to transform your life. But what has changed since then up to now? How many poor people have really gotten out of poverty and joined either middle class, and how many small scale business people, maybe those who are riding border then, have now acquired maybe Ubers and so on and so forth. How many Mama Mboga who have now owned supermarkets? How many Mutu Mkokoteni have now owned border or are okay? We can use maybe evidence that at this specific time, 100 people were pushers of cart or were Mkokoteni riders, but right now they've advanced from pushing that Mkokoteni to owning a border. And maybe 1,000 border riders at this specific time have now advanced not only now to riding border, but now they are now driving Ubers. And those who are driving Uber then are now maybe owning a shuttle or a bus. And maybe a specific number of Mamamboga who are owning kiosks then are now owning supermarkets. So if that is not there, it means that these are just political gimmicks that are aimed at hoodwinking the public that they are being empowered or they are being transformed economically. But the objective is just to woo their votes and nothing like economic empowerment.
And thank you. And something that even like people might not get it right. Maybe people might see that, okay, maybe sometimes we are opposing the empowerment. We are not. But our question is the process in which, or the strategies that have been laid down, because like if you look at the main aim of empowerment is to see somebody improving his social life status. As you mentioned, even today, if we can do our due diligent investigation and go and find the lady, the old lady that you're talking about, that actually was the face of the hustler during the president campaigns to the IEBC, even during when he was going for his debates. You know, what has really changed as her life changed, especially, and if life has not changed, then what is going to be quite much different with this that they're being doing. So that is something that empowerment is good, but like the only problem that I have with it is first of all, it is not universal. Yeah, is not universal, because like if you look at the population of the youth, let's say that we want to empower the youths. Take for example what happened in Nairobi, especially where the governor for Nairobi and His Excellency President, they were in State House. When you take at that, it was not all about it was not all youth from Nairobi, yeah, that were invited to the State House. There were groups of those who were invited. What about the other one? So talk about those that are not coming from Nairobi. I was talking about maybe Kisumu, Homa Bay, all those, the other counties. What are you going to do for them? Are you going to give them all that? So so that one is showing that discrimination on how you distribute this empowerment, because the youth from Garissa were not invited. Yeah, that is what I think. Okay, I think today there's a problem with the Migoda because it keeps on dropping on there's maybe something wrong with the internet. So thank you very much everyone for joining this discussion, and if you're on the comment section and you're watching us, you can also share your view on the issues that we are discussing, especially when we are talking about the empowerment. We're talking about the devolution that happened in Homa Bay, where Barak, before we go into the main discussion, actually I wanted to ask you, Raila was proposing also that education should be devolved, and some people are saying, okay, it's a very good idea, but can we implement it? Do we have the policies in place if it is devolved that we are going to implement education sector? Even right now, we have a problem within educational sector. Do you think by devolving it to county, that one will solve the issues? So maybe your brief thinking on that.
Is it my internet or your internet that is having issues? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well, brother.
Yes, so I was saying that my opinion on that is that, I don't know if we really understand the governance structure that we have.
Yeah.
Because when we have a problem at the national level, we do not devolve that problem at the county level, because we are going to make it worse. I don't know if the reason why our health system is in a mess is because of this. It was devolved, and there is a debate that the government is holding on to a lot of money at the national level.
Yeah.
But devolving very few funds, then governors are not able to run the health system effectively at the grassroots level. Now, education is very complex, and I don't think we have the capacity. Counties have the capacity to run it. You've seen even the issue of, education involves teachers, employment of teachers, and also an employment of or taking care of the students. And since we dealing with a national examination system, yeah, because once you develop something, do you want to tell me that every country is going to have their own examination system? Do you want to tell me that every country will be issuing certificate on their own? And how will that be translated into credibility of those academic certificates? Because I don't think that we have the capacity, number one, for our counties to employ teachers. We've seen the problem with nurses. You find that one county nurses are on strike even for 6 months. Nobody cares. Yeah, and we behave as if everything is normal. We've seen counties that very few counties have been able to manage their health system effectively, but most counties have been having problems with the nurses. Others are having problem with the clinical officers. Others are having problem with doctors. At the end of the day, you find that it is the minister at the national government who comes in and sorts things out. We've also seen that with other devolved functions. Now, you want to tell me that when we devolve education now, every county to manage their own education system, do we really care about the future of our learners in this country? Because education is not something that we should gamble with the way we are gambling with other sectors. And you know, education also brings the issue of credibility and being recognized internationally. Yeah, because once you learn in Kenya, you are and maybe you finish up with a one level, you are expected that if you go to a different country, they will be able to recognize that academic qualification that you had at that level. But when we start gambling with it, that we want to develop this, want to develop that, and we don't have the capacity, yeah, what are we trying to tell the future, our learners in this country? I think what has been devolved is enough. Let the governors handle that. Let them bring order and sanity in those things that have been, those functions that have been devolved, so that we do not continue devolving functions without capacity. Then we end up having a crisis in a very important sector like education sector. Hi, Gypsy Corner and all other viewers who are following up on the comment section. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. And I would also want to take this opportunity to say hi to Gypsy Corner. And he has said that devolution should be generalized, not county by county. I don't want to quote Raila by saying the counties are different. No, no, no. Okay, thank you. You know, but this one brings me back to yesterday, what you spoke about. You talk about the federal government and the autonomy of the counties that we have. And maybe I might take my thinking based on maybe interacting or reading from other areas where we borrowed this constitution from, and we discussed that one at length. For instance, let's come to the United States. If you come to the United States, each and every county, education though is devolved, but there's that amount that also the federal government plays part in it. But you find that this county, some of the counties have different calendars, especially when it comes to school. You can find like when it comes to New York, the days that they are in school is quite much different with other states. You know, so you find that their calendars really differ. But you know, they know how to do it because they have mechanism in place on how they work. For instance, when you come to education, there's what we call the district schools. This is where should your kids go to school? You know, your kids will go to school to where you are paying the taxes. We call them, which district are you from? You know, so if you're coming from a district whereby they pay low taxes, you will also realize that they say, okay, I don't want my kid to be in such an area. You know, so that is what we call devolve. To devolve, it's not by word, but it is by action and by proper strategies and proper framework and processes on how it can work. But you know, what we usually do, we just throw the word devolution. We've devolved and we devolved education. We do not have proper mechanism or the proper processes. We do not even go through trainings, especially those that will be given the mandate to practice that devolve government, to understand it more. Is that like the only time we get is that, okay, this is devolved and it needs to go that way. So I think where we usually get it wrong, Mr. Barak, is like when we are talking about devolution, we tend also to put more politics in it than the reality. Yeah, we don't separate it from our politics of the day. The politics of the day has to take a center stage, especially when you're talking with the matter of devolution. So that's a thing also where we're also getting it wrong, my brother.
I agree with you, and you know, I don't know why some politicians are obsessed with the issues of devolving functions from the national government to the county government without even taking stock of what has been happening. For example, look at the ECDs, because you know ECDs are a function of the county government. How have they been run? And remember, even counties, some counties have not been able to pay ECD teachers. You find that others are paying this amount, others are paying the other amount, others are paying, so others are not even paying at all. So you are talking about now devolving education as a whole to the county governments. Now, I think that is just being politicians they just want to be relevant, to be seen as if they are supporting devolution. But in real sense, that is not supporting devolution, because it's like you are killing the future of the learners of this country at the altar of devolution. Because even looking at the capacity that our counties have, and we really need to even to discuss whether there some counties are really viable or not. Because looking at the capacity of the counties that we have, they barely even struggle to survive. Some counties like Lamu, like Vihiga, like you find that they even barely struggle to survive.
Yeah.
And now you want to tell them now to manage education on their own, surely. Yeah. I think that is just they want to be politically relevant, and really not looking at the issues objectively, with the intention of bringing solution, and not just for mentioning devolution because we are at a devolution conference. Now we need to devolve everything. And remember, functions and budgets are very critical. And education normally takes the lion's share of the national budget. So what will that translate when we say, okay, now let us devolve? And now who's going to employ our teachers? Because you cannot tell TSC to send teachers to across the country, and yet education is under different county government. So this is something that it requires a lot of consultation and a lot of being realism and being objective in terms of charting the way forward for the function that we have in our county governments.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Miguda. How are you doing today? Your technology is disciplining you very nicely.
Was nicely necessary.
It is necessary because we're seeing on how you're being disciplined. Okay.
You are mute.
Okay. We were just talking about the devolved function, especially Right Honorable Prime Minister was suggesting that education should be devolved, and you know how education has been in our country. We've always faced challenges with education, even implementing. Barak has talked about the ECD, implementing even structures, the infrastructures, especially when you go to some of those schools in the village. Some of them do not have even proper infrastructures to talk about, and now we're talking about devolving. How can we devolve yet even classes where our students, some of them like follow Professor TV Mangeto Chito. It's called who? This guy from talking about, and then it's from Bomet. Look at when he goes to some of the schools around those areas. Look at how inhabitable, But now we want to devolve.
It's called Hillary Barchok.
Yes, Hillary Barchok. I was seeing the guy was going around the Bomet County, pointing out schools and the infrastructures of those schools. The other day we saw what was aired, especially by one of the local media stations, especially from Tarakaniti, and we are still talking about devolving. So, and that's why I was saying that we are just throwing the word devolve and this, but we do not have proper structure. Miguda, what is your take on it?
Okay, I hope I'm clear, and right now I'm gonna manage without.
Okay. Thank you so much.
My tech has really suffered. Has made suffered this. So I'm saying, issue devolving education. These things, I think the onset began when we were drafting the constitution, because by then Nat and Kupet, the representatives were present when people were being the public participation, and they refused that when education was going to be devolved. They wanted the TSC to remain at the national, but the politicians also said, okay, even if we devolve education, the TSC will just remain at central. They thought that they were going to remove TSC. Teacher Service Commission is a commission. Now they wanted it to remain as a commission. But they thought by that time, what I've read from the drafters, that it was the issue of TSC. that they wanted to retain TSC. So there was no need to devolve education. But now they decided to do the ECDE part of it, that the ECDE were rendered to the counties. And in terms of infrastructure, or in terms of even empowering, in terms of employing teachers,
Yeah.
you find out that my elder sister is an ECD teacher. So I understand the challenges she is actually facing and the challenges the younger people are facing. We need to we need to even at county level, we need to disperse funds to the ECD, and also we need to disperse funds in terms of employment. Maybe we need more teachers. Rather, right now that like the county I'm familiar with, they employ maybe one ECD teacher per kindergarten.
Yeah.
And maybe you find that we have several kindergartens without government paid teachers. So I think the issue of devolving education, it ought to have been discussed earlier at the onset through the issues of infrastructure. Because you understand, even when you come to the primary and secondary, you'll find that is now at the constituency level. It's area MP usually go to develop infrastructure, purchasing bus, desk, and even issues. But you find again the A teacher or the principal are now coordinating with the national, the PAP. So you find it's somehow complicated in terms of coordination, academics, and also you understand the issue of NEC. NEC is also at the national level. So there was still need to review at the onset whatever the people, because we were not there. But now from the experience we have seen, it was not necessary to let it be like they thought they were going to the constitution was going to take TSC away from them. So I think that's my take.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is what, maybe before I invite Makobura, this is, I think, what Douglas want to know here. Douglas want to know, okay, what is the Douglas saying here? Ben, I've stayed in Australia, but students come to school at 9 a.m. by 2:30 p.m. Parents pick them. That is true. There's also drop-off, whereby there's a place that you can be dropped. This is what Nicholas Chepkwon, Wakenya wameamua ni one term. Asante sana. Hiyo tutangoja kwa ballots tuone kama itakuwa hivyo. Ben, I think like you asked Barack something about the boarding school, especially in developed world, whereby sometimes we do not have boarding school, whereby children has to go to boarding school. Barack, somebody wants to know your opinion on that.
About boarding school?
Yeah, like when you go to developed world, especially especially when you come to high school or primary school, you find like majority there's no boarding school whereby these students attend, and it's talking about being picked up in the morning and being dropped, or the parents are picking them up.
Yeah, that's a discussion that has been in this country for some time, especially doing away with boarding school. And I think Kenya is still a low middle income economy. So that's why comparing Kenya with maybe the US or UK or Australia, where Brother Douglas is, sometimes we might be too ambitious with ourselves. So we need to live with the realities that we are in. Boarding school was sometimes has its own merits and demerits. And I also believe that in the developed countries, we don't have boys and girls schools. All schools are mixed, and all of them are day school. Yeah. So all of them, they have merits and demerits. So that is a discussion that has been going on. And as a country, are we really ready to do away with the boarding schools? And remember that we have a very senior people in government, and even in private sector who are beneficiaries of boarding schools like Alliance, Stare, and so forth. Are they really ready to do away with that pride of bragging for having been a product of a certain school? When you hear when you listen to learned friends talking, the likes of Orengo and so on, when they're in court, and they make others feel like they never went to school at all. So are they really ready to do away with that pride of having gone to Alliance and having ended up at the University of Nairobi and feeling so much entitled to that? So it is a discussion that needs to happen, because some of us believe that boarding school is not good at all for our society, and others believe that it's a good thing for the society. So it's something that we should have. It's among the items we should discuss at the conclave. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And that's why Barak now. Okay, Barak, did you say that they don't have boarding schools in Western world?
I did not say that. I think it is a question that was asked up there by our brother Douglas.
Yeah.
And I was just responding according to the belief that in developed countries, they don't have boarding schools. And also we do not have boys schools and girls schools the way we have here, that a school that is specifically for boys, another one is specifically for girls. So they encourage integration between boys and girls. And there's also an argument that has also encouraged early marriages, that we find that at 18 years, we already have parents. And because they start integrating early enough to continue with the assignment of adults.
Okay. Thank you so much, Barak, for that. And before Makubura comes in, that what I would say, if you want to look at critically, education is so much complex, and if indeed the suggestion of the Right Honorable Prime Minister should be put in place, they should have very, very in-depth discussion and come up with policies, not only like to look at now the funds will be given, because sometimes we look at it in terms of the money will be devolved, but what are other services that comes with it? We are talking about structures, infrastructures. We're talking about teachers. Yeah. As our good friend was saying, that some of them are still getting education under a tree in the republic where we are. So it is something that it is not just being done to solve the issue of education. No, it also because of interest. People fighting for interest, especially you talk about the private entities, the same people who are working in those educational sectors. They're entrepreneurs. They built good schools, especially where they charge a lot of money, and they say that give those quality education to the Kenyans at a fee, even including some of our churches are very good schools but at a fee. Makobura, before we discuss about the return of Rigathi Gachagua, maybe in a nutshell, what would you say about the development of education, and maybe where do you feel some changes could be done? Hey, Makobura, how are you doing?
Okay, thank you. Allow me to say hi to you, to Mr. Barak, to Miguda, and to everyone. I can see my brother Douglas at the comment section. I can also see a good friend Gypsy Corner, among others. I'm saying hi to them, and I hope that they are doing good. Yeah, so the issue of education, I think it's a good thing that education was devolved, and especially the lower, is it the nursery or the lower primary? But one thing that has not been implemented is there's no any uniformity in terms of how they are managed, because you find that in different counties they have different way of running the ECD. In different counties, they are being paid differently. And I think those are some of the things that needs to be looked into so that there is some unity. I mean, when their issues are being handled, so that while they are in certain counties, they are not supposed to feel that they're either neglected by their own counties, while others from different countries are being heard or are getting better attention from the leadership. And then something else that I've noticed with the ECD is that there is still a high number of teachers who are qualified, but they are not really employed. And if they go looking for employment or confirmation, what we've always seen is that they've not been given a chance by whoever is responsible in ensuring that they are given this opportunity. You find that there's still high level of corruption within the county governments, and you're only confirmed by county if you know of someone or if you are assisted. So such kind of things are, taking us back as a country, and they need to be sorted so that we have a clear system on how things are done within the country. But again, even the legal framework on how all those matters should be handled within other countries, I think they should be harmonized so that there is no consistent back and forth. We've always seen, even within counties, teachers going for strike. That means that even their pleas have not been clearly heard or listened to by their employer, that is the counties. Yes, I think that's my take on the issue of education in the county levels, unless there's any other specific question on that matter.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. There's no any other question. Who fights for the inner villages who keep hearing about the well-established regions? We still have inequalities in Kenya, and that's also something that we are talking about, the empowerment, especially, and about the devolution. You will find that when we are talking about the devolution, you will find that especially the counties that are outskirts of Nairobi, their headquarters tend to thrive well, but like when you go to the villages, the proper infrastructures are not there, especially on how to access even this dispensary. We do not have ambulance that are working, that you would call at night and they would come and assist you and all that. So we still have a long way, especially with the devolution in terms of implementation. But also we have to agree that there are so many revolutions that has come, and so many development that has come with devolution. We are not saying that nothing has happened. There are good things that we've seen, but there's still a lot to be done. For the 12, is it 15 or 12 years? When you're looking at it, I think we are far much behind in terms of implementation and creating good structures, especially in the remote areas of those counties. Thank you so much. Barak, I will engage you, then I will invite Miguda. When we were starting discussion, I was talking about the patriotism, and I talked about a song that was sung by our legendary artist, like Ewe Kenya inchi yangu, Ewe Kenya mama yangu, and talking about patriotism. And when you talk about patriotism, it's the love that you have for your country. And what happened as Rigathi Gachagua is returning back, there are this accusation that his opponent, especially the politicians or the leaders that they don't share with, or they're not aligned, their thoughts are not aligned, have accused him of not being patriotic. And why? Because you've gone outside the country and talked about the challenges, or you're washing the dirty linen in the public instead of talking to the country. We talk as a family when in the closed doors and talk about issues that are affecting us. And remember, the audience he was addressing were also Kenyans. So the patriotism, as he returns home, do you feel, you as a person, that there are some elements of betrayal of patriotism, especially for his beloved country? Remember, he was talking to Kenyans too. Mr. Barak.
It's thank you, Ben. I think this patriotism, I think Kenyans are really struggling with this, with the word patriotism.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the behavior of a Kenyan recently, it's a clear betrayal of a country, because every country have their own domestic issues, but they do not go out there and start washing their dirty linens in public. And that is what most Kenyans are doing, especially those who do not like the current regime, including Rigathi Gachagua, because he was addressing Kenyans, but he was talking about, I don't know, going to the US, the Trump administration, and sharing some information with them. For what purpose? For the purposes of bringing the current regime down. And let me just give you some scenarios. You know, in 2021 election of Uganda, Bobi Wine was very popular. But do you know the reason why his popularity went down? It's because of Ugandans are very patriotic, and he was accused of trying to support foreign ideology in Uganda, and was accused of being a puppet of the West. And since then, Bobi Wine, who was very popular in 2021 election, is now struggling with popularity. You cannot compare his current popularity with that one of 2021. And now look at Burkina Faso, the leader who came in power through a coup. And there's a comment that an army general from the US made about him. And every citizen was up in arms defending him, because they know that we have this is our leader, and we must not allow any foreign power to try to intervene on our domestic issues. Look at Tanzania, the way they are handling their own. Today I watched a video of a commissioner flogging contractors who are supposed to supply benches, desks into her school, but they've not managed to do so. So if you try to mention anything against their leader, remember when John Pombe Magufuli was the president, and he was saying that COVID-19 was a scam, and all Tanzanians were backing him. They did not go out there and start talking ill about him. So we Kenyans have not really understood the importance of patriotism. It does not mean that you have everything is rosy at home. That's why you have to love your country. No, your country it is your responsibility to love and protect. And you do not do that by going out there and trying to talk ill about your country simply because you do not agree with the person who is in charge right now. And remember, this person is just in charge right now, but tomorrow he might not be in charge. So what happens once you go out there and wash that linen in public? So I think it's not a good thing. And I think with the time, I think we must not allow ourselves to be used by the West being as their puppets, because America will not come to Kenya to advance Kenyan's interest. America will come to Kenya to advance American interest. Even the so-called investigations they are doing at the Senate, it is not to advance Kenyan's interest. It is to advance their own interest, because that is what international relations is all about. Yeah. So you want Kenya to advance American interest and not Kenyan interest. So if the president or the country is doing something that is advancing Kenyan interest, but you want us to do things that are pleasing Americans because they want to make them happy, what about our interest? Anything that America does is about their own interest. Anything that China does is about their own interest. Therefore, anything that Kenya should do should be about their own interest, because countries exist, countries engage, countries collaborate to advance their own interest. And if someone is going to the US thinking that America will help them to advance Kenyan interest, then it means that you do not understand international relations. No country in the world will advance your interest. Even if they are coming here, it will be their interest first. So that people must understand that before they start pulling in America to come. I don't know to do what. I don't know which country to come to do what. To do what? To advance their interest here. What about the interest of your own country? Yeah.
Okay, but now because apart from especially talking about the investigation that is happening in this about the Senate that was being spoken about or that was in the public domain, what about other things that he has mentioned? Was it necessary? And because like he was engaging the Kenya audience, to him he might be feeling that, okay, I have to tell you or to communicate to you what is happening in your country so you can take a decision. Is that one also is wrong?
A decision to do what? Maybe
to vote next time. I am telling you, okay, this is what is happening. This is how your country is being run. So
those
I'm telling
Kenyans,
you, and he also feel that that is his patriotic right as a person, that I have to talk about my country if something is wrong.
Those people that are living out there, I believe they understand what is happening here even more than those who are living here, because they follow the news. They are well informed. They are well conversant with technology, and I believe that they know every. And that's why there's the daddy there told him to stop this Mount Kenya narrative and portray himself as a national leader and not that. How did she know that? It means that she is well informed. She understands what is happening here, and that's why you see even people were coming there and others were trying to challenge his style of leadership, his style of politics, because they understand. So I think once we get out of our borders, we should be able to know what to say and what not to say, especially when it comes to domestic issues and matters of national interest. You know, Kenya interacting with another country, we must be able to ask ourselves, what is the Kenya interest? You remember when Kenya was given that I don't know, non-NATO ally. Many Kenyans were not comfortable with that because they understand the implication. Yeah, and remember, it's not something that you apply to be given. It is just they just sit there and they look at their interest and they tell you now you are a major NATO ally. Why does they tell you that? Because they are seeing they can use you to advance their own interest. Yeah, so it is not about you advancing your interest; about they using you to advance their own interest. And sometimes you find that as a country you are exposed to attacks from you don't even know who. And remember, Kenya has suffered in the past. Yeah, Kenya has suffered in the past heavily at the hands of these Western allies. Remember 1998, 7th August, what happened in Nairobi when the American embassy was being bombed by Al-Qaeda? How many Kenyans died there? And so many have been compensated up to now. And American interest, America was the target. How many attacks have we suffered at the hands of terrorists? Because we are allies of the US. And even the AU loss or riders loss at the AU, remember, was attached to the fact that Ruto supported the Western allies when every African country was saying no, we cannot interfere we cannot take a stand on what is happening in between Ukraine and Russia and between what is happening in Gaza. But Ruto came out and say, Kenya, we support we support Israel. Kenya, we support the US. And at the end of the day, you find that Kenyans are attracting more enemies internationally, more than friends, simply because we want to be seen that we are allies of the US, we are allies of NATO, but we are forgetting that our interests should always come number one. So if our engagement as a NATO ally is not advancing our interests, should we really consider? We can even consider pulling out of it as a country, because we cannot be attracting other enemies in the sake of wanting to please one ally. Yeah, and let me ask you, Brother Ben.
Yes.
If you have a friend who wants you to inherit their enemies, for them to continue being your friend, then that's not a good friend. Because I should not dictate to you who to be your friend, because you are my friend. You have autonomy to choose who else to be friends with. But I cannot force you to inherit my enemies because you are my friend. That is not a relationship that is healthy. That's a toxic relationship.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Barak. And Makobura, then I will invite Miguda. Makobura, at what point does the political interest supersede the patriotism of a country? At what point do you feel like my political interest will supersede the patriotism that I have for my country? At what point?
Okay, thank you. Maybe from what I've seen in the Republic of Kenya, more of, when we speak about being a patriot, there's a few number of people who are patriots in terms of their behavior, the stance that they can take. When you are a patriot, you are someone who can, the interest of the entire country really matters. And for positions like presidency and all these other, they really require someone who is patriotic. Patriotic in the sense that, they're the custodian of the key of the country. If you are the president, you carry the key of the country. If you are in leadership, you carry the key. Nyinyi ndio mmesanywa, nyinyi kama prefects. Actually, that's the best definition. Clarification that I can use to describe it. Hao ni kama prefects, when, they're supposed to use the wisdom that they've been given by God to ensure that the moves and the moves that they make are moves that are all, are all really geared towards protecting the nation, protecting the interest of the people that they are leading. But currently in Kenya, we've seen quite a number of leaders coming out to speak more of themselves, to speak more of things that really matters to their own lives. And I can say that the level of greed has gotten, or has made the leaders, not just leaders, but even the people of Kenya, to lose the patriotism that we've always had as a people.
How have we lost it?
Today, you walk, you are leader, given a chance to lead the people of Kenya, but then ukisikia kuna pesa ingine mahali, ama umepewa pesa uende ufanye nayo kazi, the only thing wewe unaangalia ni umepewa milioni moja. Wewe unaangalia tu hii milioni moja sitaipeleka yote. Nataka nipeleke kitu kama nusu, ama nipeleke nusu, na hii nusu yenye imebaki utapeleka wapi? That is the question. So the greed has always been what really dictates our lifestyle, and it has changed our thinking, it has changed our humanity, the humanity and the patriotism that we have always had. We are at a point when we have leaders who wanaweza iba kila kitu, wanaweza iba pesa yote mpaka wengine wakufe njaa, na kwao ni sawa tu. Unaona, for example, the issue of ngaf and whatever. The reason why the parliament is fighting it is because even members of parliament wanataka wakawa wanaiba kitu kingine pia na wao. And that is why they cannot leave it. And these are the questions that we are asking. What is the role of parliament? Why are they still...
Before you go, Makobura, before you go to the role of parliament, what I want you to actually to make us understand, at what point is the political interest supersedes the patriotism that I have for my country? And in this case, because we've seen, especially leaders who are not aligned to Rigathi Gachagua, have called him out that he was not patriotic enough, especially when he was at an international platform. You brought in the dirty linen of our country, the things that we are going through, and you decided to discuss them in the public. And we know Rigathi Gachagua is a political leader, somebody who has ambition, want to become a president. Maybe if his cases in the court will give him a leeway. So we are asking that not even him, but any political leader, if you have divergence view with your competitor, at what point do that interest that you have supersedes the patriotism? Or should the patriotism supersedes the interest, especially when you are handling the international matters?
The patriotism should always supersede. It should always be on a higher range
Okay.
when it comes to matters of national interest, when it comes to leadership, because the views of the people, the interest of the people really matters. Because you are just one and you're leading a group of people.
Yeah.
The views of a group of people is what should be listened to. The group, let me give you a good example of why I can say that we've always had a problem. Regarding himself, if he's being accused of not being patriotic, that is a fact. At some point, he was not. And even the moves and the stance that he had were not really a patriotic move, but his interest was placed high. But something else that is again surprising me is that now he wants to behave that he's so patriotic more than and now even accusing the other people who are now portraying that they're not patriotic. So this is the challenge you've had with the political class. They become patriotic when they're in opposition. They become patriotic when they're looking for political seats. But if they get the political seats, then their interest then supersedes being loyal to the people and to the country.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say like the way you are politicians, and so the patriotic, but at what point, because like there's also something here that Gypsy Kona is saying that is quite also very much important, that how do we find patriotism? Because I find that people view it very differently. For instance, let's talk about the issue of Rigathi Gachagua, because he's coming home. Among other things that he was accused of is not being patriotic to his country, bearing in mind that some of the pronouncement he made while meeting Kenyans. And remember, all these are Kenyans too that he was talking to. And bearing in mind that the global world where we have, even if he could have been in Kenya and saying this, could that one have been a patriotic? He could have been patriotic if he could have said that while in Kenya.
Is that my question?
Yes. Let's say, for instance, all that he said while he was on his US tour was saying them in Kenya. Could it also be called unpatriotic to the country? Or when he says it outside?
That's okay. One thing that I disagree with regarding Gachagua is that we have a problem as a country, yes, but he's part of the people who brought the problem. So he cannot and do not have the moral of going out to now spoil the name of, to speak about the matters that he himself is part of and is among the people who brought them. So I think he would have done it with some decency. It is true that things are not working. It is true that we have a challenge as a country, but going to expose activities of Kenya into another country, a country that has their own interest, I don't think that was right, because if he went there to speak about all those things, if we start analyzing those things one by one, he's part of the people who brought all those problems that we are facing today as a country. And for that reason, it was not right for him to go speak about those things over there. And is among the people who brought those problems here in Kenya.
Okay. So I want to invite Miguda, but before I invite Miguda, I want to read for you. I don't know whether this is the best. Patriotism is the feeling of love, devotion, and a sense of attachment to one's country or state. This attachment can be a combination of different feelings for things such as the language of one's homeland and its ethnic, cultural, political, and historical aspects. That is patriotism. This is how it explains. I don't know, some other version might give it quite much differently. But Miguda, what do you say about that, especially when it comes to patriotism? Where do you stand, especially when you want to criticize your country? Where is the best place that you can criticize your country? First of all, to be politically relevant, to make sure that your patriotism still stands there. Hello, Miguda. Okay, we've lost Miguda. Today I told Miguda that technology is disciplining Miguda very, very nicely. Okay, this is what I read.
Brother Ben, just a minute. I'm having a problem with my machine. There's no power. I'm just trying to find where to charge, so it might drop for a few, and then I'm just trying to fix it.
Okay, no problem. The love of handout money, tokenship makes men and women wicked. Some leaders abandon good jobs and end up in politics due to their interests just to find a loophole to siphon the money. What is that one? Can we say that one is patriotism? And that is lack of patriotism. You love your country and you come and vie for a political position, Mr. Barak. Then the next thing you do, you siphon our money and love you love more yourself more than the country.
Those are some of the problems we have, and that has made Kenyans to be unpatriotic because of the bad manners of our political leaders, and how they are hell-bent to ensure that they steal. You know, corruption is a better word for stealing. You know, if you are corrupt, you are a thief, and we just use that word corruption to make it more complex so that people don't see you as a thief. But all corrupt people are thieves. They are stealing from the public money. People that they are leading, they are stealing from them. Instead of offering solution, they are ensuring that they continue to sink deeper and deeper into misery and problems. Okay. And those are the issues that when people who are patriotic look at, they feel that patriotism does really pay. We have had even players who have played for the country without even being paid. Some players even use their money to support the national team so that they can participate. But now, if you look at the political class, what they are doing, they are stealing from the coffers that are drying, yeah, and they are living in opulence. They are have escorts everywhere, and they continue stealing from the public, and they come and lie to you that they want to transform your life, and they steal from you again. And when you go to hospitals, you find no doctors are on strike, no medicine. If you go to school, teachers are complaining, no capitation. They can't even sustain themselves. And it's only political class that is living large in this country. All other all other sectors are dying. Ask yourself why. It is because of bad manners. We are giving job to thieves who are stealing from us. And I think that job has been so attractive that when we have even a by-election, it's attracting so many people because they know that this is the only avenue to enrich ourselves in this country. And I think we need to discuss that so that we can instill values of patriotism in our country. Because even the children that we are raising in schools, they don't see values in patriotism. If you compare children who are growing right now and those who grew up during Nyayo time, I think during Nyayo time people were so patriotic about this country, and there are some values that even though Moi was not that a good leader, but he managed to instill some values to Kenyans then compared to now. Because right now everybody wants to leave this country, to run away and go to even to become a domestic worker in the Middle East. They don't care about the condition that they are putting themselves into out there. But then, during Moi's time, I think there was some sense of patriotism in this country that had just disappeared with the culture of impunity that came the other day as a result of us electing thieves in positions of power and positions of decision making.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miguda. Hopefully you are going to stay. And you know, the issue of patriotism is now bringing and giving us a different, especially conversation when you look at it. As much as we might be calling out the right honor, the Rigathi Gachagua of what he's doing, but now come to the country, and this one even bring us to what yesterday President said in the Parliament, that the Parliament are like the leaders extortion Mr. Miguda of giving money. And yesterday you saw a few members of Parliament actually rebutted, and just to mention, Babu-Wamuchomba say that even like there was a 30,000 that was going around to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, and talking about patriotism. So you ask, so should I do wrong in my country then that one is patriotism. But when I do it outside the country, that is not patriotism. And Festus Kosa, thank you so much for that. If anyone accuses his or her county is not a patriotic person will always put his or her country first, defend the country no matter what. Thank you so much for your comment. Mr. Miguda, what do you say? Patriotism.
Patriotism, to me, it depends on somehow, because you find these people are now putting it to be more of a political affiliate, because those people, or even when Raila was outside, remember when Raila was outside, he was being interviewed by the French television, and he was being interviewed on the issue of the ICC, and he was asked why Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were acquitted. When he was asked why Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were acquitted, he said that the suspects were acquitted by the ICC, but the victims were never compensated. And now the victims were never compensated, so there was no justice. According to Raila, you know, it was called all sorts of names. It was called Raila is not patriotic. How can you go and damage the image of the president and the deputy respectively internationally? Raila, you are Mganga, all sorts of names. So today, Gachagua has just revealed what he actually revealed here in Kenya. People say, okay, you are not patriotic, you defend the country. So the question is, I want to ask, who do not know that Uhuru and Ruto were suspect of the ICC? So it is in the public domain. They were suspects. So, and the victims were never compensated. And the question we're asking here, who does not know that Gachagua, Ruto met a Medi? They met. So if you want to make it like, if Raila spoke, Raila is not patriotic. Gachagua speaks, it's not patriotic. You are not going to get it. You are not going to get it. Let us always be principled. If Raila is wrong, it's wrong. Not that it's only right when our man speak about it. Even the same president, he talked about we are having a mongrel government when he was in UK, that the handshake between Raila and Uhuru is like a mongrel. There is no position, there is no government. So these things whereby they want to make it political, that Gachagua is not patriotic. Even Ruto was never patriotic. Even Raila was never patriotic, if that is the case. So to me, patriotic Kenya Kwanza, that's the country should come first. So it doesn't matter that you want to do it selectively, that if Benson talked about it, then Benson is not patriotic. But when Barack talked about it, then Barack is patriotic because I'm supporting Barack. So if we are going to define it based on our affiliates, we are not going to get in the country. So to me, I think even abroad, away or home, we should be patriotic. Remember, I want to give a certain example here. Though we understand there's a distinction between soccer and the constitution, but it's very important. Right now, we are hosting the FIASA, that is the secondary tournaments and the primary at Kakamega. We have invited our friends from East Africa. The Ugandans are there, Tanzanians are there, Burundis are there, Rwandese are there, and we are playing currently. But remember, when our activists went to Uganda, they were detained and sent back to Kenya. When some of us went to Uganda, we were detained and sent back to Kenya. But remember, us, we have allowed them to. So that's why we should allow this issue of democracy, because we exist. We are existing beyond politics. We are not only, we don't end with politics. There are so many activities that can bring us together culturally, practices. So there is no need of, whenever you feel like someone is a threat to your administration, then you want to detain that person, you want to arrest that person, you want to accuse him of patriotism. If that is the case, then they ought to have arrested Raila. When Raila jet back to the country, when he makes such remarks, they never arrested Raila. He never recorded any statement. And by then people defended that Raila was talking like a Pan-Africanist. And if that's the case, they ought to have arrested Ruto. They never arrested Ruto. He's currently the president. So this issue of threatening Gachagua, that they will arrest him because of such utterances, to me, I don't buy that idea. Because maybe that's what I've said. If we delve into politics, we are going to miss the definition of patriotism and the principality of any person in the country. And lastly, the issue of extortion, whereby members of parliament are being bribed, even to an extent that some are given 30,000 to pass legislation. If they can confess by themselves and president admit, president, if he admits admissibility, it means that is the person who has been issuing this money. And MPs are now confirming that actually we have been receiving this money. So to me, that's a clear indication that parliament has been compromised, parliament has been captured. And the only arm that can capture parliament is the executive, because parliament oversights the executive. The judiciary can't capture parliament. So parliament has been captured by the executive, and that's how we want to manage up to 2027.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, thank you so much, Miguda. And let me take this opportunity to invite everyone who is watching. And Makobura, you can hold brief for me. I want to check something here, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Ben, for finding time to take us through what was happening. And I don't know whether I'm clear enough. Kindly confirm, Miguda. Kindly confirm if I'm clear enough. I'm sorry. Did you say I'm okay?
You are very clear.
Okay, thank you so much. Allow me to highlight some few comments here. I can see our good friend N. Owan is saying Senator Thangwa was offered 20 million to impeach Gachagua, but he refused. There's also a comment here from Gypsy Corner here saying that if Kenya is not careful selling every inch of it, we could end up like Congo, because we have greedy individuals in politics. Okay, thank you so much for your take. And maybe to our viewers, of course, this is a reminder that you're watching the Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're watching for the first time, kindly like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us, and we'll say thank you. And of course, that brings me to this question, Mr. Barak. We've had the issues of accusation, the issues of greed among the political class. We've had even the opposition so many times they've come out and say that, and say the bad or the negative things that are being done within the government. Some of them have even promised the people that they will never get near those who are in government. We've been seeing even some governors, we've seen some political parties coming out to say that they will not associate themselves with the government. But recently we've been seeing quite a number of people coming from different counties, from different political parties, and they are called leaders. And then they go to State House, they're given some money, and then they tend to forget the all intention. They tend to forget everything that they had stood with or told the people. As a political analyst, Mr. Barak, what is your take on this, and how are we going to, to do away with that narrative and mentality among the political class?
Yes, Mark, we unfortunately, the political class do not find themselves in office. They are elected by the people. Therefore, it is upon the people to ensure that they elect upright people, not thieves. The problem we have is more cultural than just individual, because these people that we complain right now, we are saying the parliament has been captured. Remember, Parliament has 290 elected members. That is National Assembly has 290 elected members. It has 47 county women representatives. And we can forgive the 12 nominated because those were favored by their political parties. But now look at 290 plus 47. They did not just walk into that parliament. They were elected from their respective constituencies by the voters. Look at the Senate. We have 47 elected senators. And forgive the nominated because the nominations are dished out according to the wishes of the political leaders, political party leaders. So are we willing to look into the mirror and see the real problem of this country? Because we cannot purport to claim that the problem of this country is 290 people, and yet these 290 people were elected by about over 15 million people. Yeah. So we must look at the mirror and see the real problem of the country. And if we are not willing to change from what we are seeing in the mirror and focus on the love for country, and loving the country, it means even ensuring that the country is in the hands of people who love this country and who can do better for this country, people who means well for this country, people who can transform this country. It is not just electing people and we start bedeviling them, electing people and we start complaining them, receiving bribe from people and we start complaining. We receive bribe from the people, then when they get into power, they start recovering the money that we receive from them. We start blaming them. Let us understand that positions of power are not meant for enriching individuals, and you don't have to be bribed to vote for individuals. Because as we continue receiving money from politicians, as we continue receiving favors from politicians, we will never end up having the right people in leadership. We will continue having thieves as leaders, because once they get there, they want to recover what they gave out. Once they get there, they want to recover what they used as a bribe. Once they get there, they want to recover what they've lost when they were looking for those seats. So it's upon us as a society. Are we willing to change, to start electing people based on merit, or are we willing to continue? Yeah, are we willing to continue receiving bribes and electing thieves so that they can continue stealing from us and even ruining our generation forever? It's upon us as a society to decide on what to do next. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I'll highlight some few comments here, and I'll just want you to give your take. This Festus Kosa here is saying that, dear Kenyan brothers and sisters, we are the citizens. We the citizens are the problem, because we have always elected our tribes but not leaders. We Kenyans ourselves is the problem. We keep on recycling the same leaders. And then there's also another one from Irene Ruare here saying that the devil comes in form of angels, but some politicians and individuals first come out in a sheepskin. Inside, they are the wolves. When they gain loyalty from the people, they turn to their true colors so bad. And then there's also a comment here from Gypsy Corner. Gypsy Corner here is saying that, Barack, where can we get clean politicians from? Voters have got no choice but to choose who is on the ballot. And then there's also Popsy here is saying that, I was surprised to know that Raila resigned from parliament after being paid by KANU and funded by KANU for re-election. There's also Psychona is saying, Popsy, Kenyan politics is full of drama, never dull. Maybe you can give your comments on those views from the comments.
Thank you for those comments, Ipsikona, Irene, Festus, Popsy, NON, and so on and so forth. We really appreciate your comments. and engaging the conversation. And I just want to mention that Gypsy Corner is asking, where do we get clean people, politicians from? Gypsy Corner, we have very clean people in this country. The only problem is that voters are not willing to vote for them because they don't have anything to give them before they are voted in. And that is the big problem, that we've made our politics to be so commercialized, it is so expensive, that even good people are afraid to run for political office, because expectation from the voters is, once I declare today that I want to be the member of parliament for example, Starehe constituency, the expectation is that I should start feeding the people of Starehe constituency at my home from today until election day, and all the sick people I should pay their hospital bill, and all the funerals I should be able to contribute, all the weddings and everything. So you find that because of that expectation from the public, it makes good leaders who have integrity but they don't have money to bribe voters, they stay away. And remember, we had the late Professor George Magoha. Once he was asked, when he was the vice chancellor of the University of Nairobi, he was asked whether he will join politics one day. And he said that he's not a fool, he's not stupid. Because according to him, people who joined politics were stupid because of that expectation of the voters. And remember, when he got a chance to serve in the government as a CS for education, and also previously as the chairperson of Kenya National Examination Council, remember, it is under his leadership that they reformed the NEC until there was no more stealing of KCSE exams as it used to happen before. So you find that we have good leaders in our society, but expectation of the voters makes them scares them from joining elective politics. Look at, for example, right now we are talking about who might be the main challenger of President Ruto in 2027. We have very good people out there, but look at the discussion revolves around regarding Gachagua, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, I don't know who else, and the Martha Karuas, the Eugene, people who have been taking the country around in circles, yeah, because we are not focusing on the alternative to what we have right now. We are not talking about the Chief Justice Emeritus, David Maraga. We are mentioning Matiang'i, and people are saying, oh, how many cases will he, well, I don't know how many cases are registered as voters. Can he even manage to reach 1 million votes? So you find that we are a society that is used to thieves, that we are not willing to try someone who cannot steal from us. And that is the biggest problem we have. Even if you look at the lineup, of the previous lineup of the presidential election, that is Raila Odinga, William Ruto, the other guy, the Roots Party, Professor Wajakoya, and Reverend Kahiga. Was it not Kahiga? So you find that people are focusing on the two front runners, Raila Odinga and William Ruto. People forgot, even at the presidential debate, they were not invited. They were told that they are not scoring below, I don't know, below 3%. They should not come and debate with the front runners. Because the perception is that for you to be a political leader, you must have a lot of money to spend on us as voters, and you must take care of our problems if you are looking for political office. So that makes these people, once they assume those offices, they now start accumulating money to recover what they spend on us. And now the result is no services, no transformation leadership, no service delivery. And so we end up having the same people, the same thieves revolving around, insulting each other. They exchange power, they continue amassing wealth. Look at the case of Ruto and William Ruto in the run-up to 2022 election, how they were exchanging bitter words, how they were going on each other's throat. And after Ruto winning election, right now they are buddies because they are birds of the same feathers. They are dining together. They are all amassing wealth. If you look at their network, look at the business that they are running, and look at the transaction they are doing with the government, and you will see some people praising one and demonizing another, thinking that they are different. They are not different. They come together when it is time to amass wealth, when it is time to steal from the public, when it's time to enrich themselves. But when they are looking for those positions, they become enemies. They make you think that they are fighting for you. They make you feel that one of them is better than the other. Even regarding Gachagua, even Raila, these are just the same people. Nobody means well for this country, and nobody, until we get an alternative, someone who is not part of the problem. And thank you for coming up with that question, Gypsy Corner. I think we have good young politicians in this country, but honestly, look at the track record of a leader. Look at how they've handled themselves. Look at how they've amassed wealth. Look at how they are using that wealth. Look at how are they perpetuating the same problem. We have had leaders who have mastered the art of using their money to make the public think that they are better than others. We should differentiate between a leader who is using their money to win the public support, and leaders who are there to serve, because you cannot solve people's problem by giving them money. You solve people's problem by transforming policies and coming up with ways for them to become economically independent. And you do not solve their problem by dishing out money to them, helping them with handout, giving them handouts, and ensuring that you continue to perpetuate dependency. They continue to depend on you. That without you, economically, they cannot manage. And such kind of leaders are not transformation leaders. They are populist leaders who will continue ensuring that the people of Kenya are not economically independent, because once they become economically independent, they will make their decisions independently, and those decisions will not favor this kind of leaders. And that is why if you see a leader dishing out money anywhere, run away from that leader. That leader wants you to continue dependent on them. They don't want you to become economically independent so that you can be independent minded when it comes to making decisions at the ballot. Back to you, Bwana Mark.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barak. And of course, your statement brings me again to this question. Gypsy Kone is asking, Barak, do you think that the young politicians like Babu, Sifuna, etc. will have to start bribing the public like the seniors? And of course, that brings me to this question. Today, there was an LSK, I don't know, they were meeting in Kwale, if I'm not wrong. And quite a number of lawyers were there. And I just followed the speech from the former Deputy President, Kalonzo Musyoka. And he did remind the lawyers that they took an oath of ensuring that they take care of, and they ensure that there is what we call respect of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. And again, I saw Babu, spoke, Sifuna spoke, and they are all actually talking against the government. They are all speaking and saying that things are not working in the Republic of Kenya, things are not working within the political class, and they're reminding and even asking the lawyers to stand and ensure that they get Ruto out of power from their own statement. If you combine that statement that is coming from these politicians who are close allies, of course, of Raila, turning their back now and starting to have their own way, with just this question that Gypsy Kone is asking, do you think that these young politicians, first, they are going to succeed in this kind of environment, an environment that is already polluted with corruption, an environment that partly understands corruption as the way to do politics. And again, with the unity among the lawyers or the likes of Sifuna, Babu, among others, joining hands to say that the constitution is not being respected and they have a duty of ensuring that whoever is going against the constitution, they bring him, they do what is necessary as per what the constitution says. What is your take on that? You can give us your take on that and then your final remarks.
Mark, I want us to have a conversation, and I just, for example, let me ask you, Babu-Wino and Sifuna, they are members of parliament, right or wrong?
Yes, they are. They are members of parliament.
Where are laws made in this country?
At the parliament.
So have they come up with any legislation, maybe to sort out any, maybe if it's the problem of Shah, have they come up with any legislation? If it's the problem of capitation, or if it's the problem, if it is a government official that is not obeying the law, have they come up with any impeachment motion? If it's a CS that is not obeying the law or not doing the right thing, have they come up with any impeachment motion? Have you heard of any?
Not really.
The LSK does not sit in parliament. LSK is a professional body of lawyers. Babu-Wino sit in the National Assembly. Edwin Sifuna sits at the Senate, where laws are made. How many legislation have they come up with to sort out the mess that they are complaining about? How many impeachment motions have they come up with? Let them say that I tried to do my best. I came up with impeachment motion. It was defeated because of corruption. I came up with this legislation. It was defeated because I lacked money to bribe my fellow MPs to support me. I came up with this legislation to scrap Shah and replace it with NHIF, but I was defeated because I lacked money to bribe my. Because I think we are entertaining populist politics in our country, and this is the problem that we've been having for many years. A leader is sitting at the parliament where laws are made, where ministers are called, where president is impeached. They just impeach the deputy president, and they are complaining that the president is not working. Ministers are not working. Laws are not working. The law that established Shah was passed in parliament. My friend, is this not populist politics, or is it transformational politics? I want to hear your opinion, my brother.
Of course, that's populism.
Are we going to transform our society using populist leaders, or we're going to transform our society using transformational leaders? Because if someone who is outside parliament is complaining, I will really buy that idea. For example, this lady, the chair of LSK, Faith Odhiambo, she's not a member of parliament. She has been doing her work so well, to an extent that she has made that body to be so relevant compared to the previous chair who was there. Now, a member of parliament who is being paid by taxpayers' money, coming there to complain that things are not working in government, and the legislature is part of government because it's an arm of government. What has they done? What has he done as an individual so that he can stand out apart from talking? Yeah, because talking does not solve problems. Coming up with ideas, coming up with solutions, coming up with the legislation, since you are paid by parliament, you are paid by taxpayers' money to sit in parliament and solve problems. You are not paid to sit in parliament and complain. You are paid by Kenyans who sit in parliament and solve problems. If others are not working, what have you done, you as an individual? Because you go there as individual members of parliament, even though you work collectively as parliament. But efforts of each individual member of parliament sometimes contributes to bring transformation leadership. So this issue of Kenyans listening to populist leaders and they start saying, oh, this one is better than the other one, what have they done in their individual capacity to convince you that if they are given a bigger position, they will do differently? Yeah? So I'm not buying that idea, and I rest my case.
Okay. Okay, very well. Thank you so much, Mr. Barak. To our viewers, allow me to acknowledge our good friends Gypsy Corner. Gypsy Corner here is saying, Barak, thanks for the question. I was thinking about that too. I like the way you open our minds and eyes, no glossing. And Eno, yeah, he's saying MPs crying to the public with no actions are just hypocrites, foxes, and idiots in his own statement. And yeah, those are some of the comments that I'm getting. Allow me to, of course, acknowledge and say a big thank you to Gypsy Corner, to N, Apopsy, Irene. I saw Judith. I also saw, who else was there? Douglas, not forgetting about Douglas. I also saw Nicholas. Nicholas Chepkwony was also here. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for also finding time to give us your take. And to everyone else, thank you so much. Brother Barak, you can give us your final remarks.
Asante sana kwa kila mtazamaji mwenye alitungana na sisi jioni ya leo. Siwezi wataja wote kwa majina, najua mmefanya show yetu leo imekuwa ya kufana sana. Asante kwa wenzangu ambao tulikuwa nao, Ben, Miguda na Mark. Tuzidi kusupport hii channel yetu, tuzidi kukuwa na mjadala, tuweze kufanya what we call, what is lacking in this country, civic education. We need to do a lot of civic education so that we can open the minds of our people, so that when by the time 2027 is here, at least we will have contributed to changing a narrative among our people, even if we just contribute to a smaller percentage, but at least as a channel, at our individual capacity, we'll have tried to contribute to the change that we are yearning for. So thank you so much, Gypsy Corner. Thank you, Apopsy. Thank you, NON.
Maybe
thank you,
Barak,
Douglas. Thank you, Irene.
Barak.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
for joining.
I was forgetting one thing. I don't know if maybe you can talk about it before you leave. The issue of politics. Yesterday there was a game. Maybe you can give us an update on that. And I also saw the 27 or 28 people who died in a road accident. I think they were also being taken home today. Maybe a little comment on that and an update of what we should expect in the political platform. I mean, in the football field, that is.
Yeah, my focus is on Sunday, Kenya and Zambia, and I hope that Kenyans are going to appear by the what we call them, by the instructions given by chance organizers, so that we do not affect the forthcoming game, that is quarterfinal. Yesterday, as you remember, Zambia lost to Morocco, so Zambia is winless so far. So we are facing a winless Zambia on Sunday, and so that's a big thing. And I think Kenya qualifying in the quarterfinal for the first time. And remember, this is the first time we are.
But you believe? I am quite sure you watched the game. What is your take on how Zambia played? Do you think if they meet Kenya, they can be a threat or anything?
After beating Morocco, I don't think we have any threat in this group, because Morocco was the biggest threat we were facing. But remember how we played against Morocco, 10 players for more than 45 minutes. That was something. And I think right now Kenya have taken a good rest, and we are expecting them to come on Sunday. And remember, every player has 2.5 million waiting for them after 90 minutes. So even if it's you just have to make 2.5 million in 90 minutes. So will you not be so motivated to play?
I wish I was among that team.
So before the whistle is blown, 2.5 million is waiting. After the last whistle, you only need to score one goal and defend it for 90 minutes. 2.5 million is yours. So let us continue cheering our national team, and we hope for the best. And finally, on the issue of sport, I think today English Premier League is starting, and today I know Gypsy Corner is going to enjoy watching Liverpool and Bournemouth. But those who understand the game knows that it will start officially on Sunday at Old Trafford. So we are looking forward also to that, those who love football. And we know that things are going to be different. Wale wamezoea kuchekelea ati sijui mlimaliza sijui page ya pili, mtashangaa.
Kita waramba. We are waiting to see. There's a comment here from a Popsy. I love it. There's something you've said that the game near Sunday. There's nothing else that people easy zingine see. Okay, that is okay.
Nimesema wale wanaelewa English Premier League. Mpira inaanza Sunday at Old Trafford.
That's a sarcastic comment anyway. But I understand. Popsy here is saying, and UDA aspirant for MP. Oh yeah, I remember there's some aspirant who collapsed and died. And yeah, you can give us your take on that, and also the 27.
We already talked about that at the beginning, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was discussed at the beginning. The issue that is unfortunate, but some things are beyond human control.
Yeah, so allow me then.
Isikitika. So Jispikona anasema tayari ya Anfield. I wish you all the best. Shangilia Liverpool kabisa. I know Bournemouth might be tricky if you're not careful, but being the first game, jaribu sana musipate ile shock mulipata kule Wembley on Sunday. Was it on Sunday or on Saturday? was on Sunday? Because I know after that Wembley match, the players were not really comfortable with who kicked the first penalty, and sometimes such when relationship starts straining at the beginning of the league, before you come back to normalcy, maybe kama 15 itakuwa imeenda. So wishing all the best. May the best win, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
I'm just surprised on the tone that you're now using to analyze football. It's actually different from the one that you are using to analyze politics, and the level of sarcasm that is in it now.
Nimesema wale wanaelewa mambo ya EPL. Unajua Jibisikona naelewa. Na naelewa Liverpool na Manchester United ndio wanang'ang'anianga EPL. The rest are just flower girls. So when I'm talking to Jibisikona about Liverpool, na anajua mimi ni mtu wa Manchester, anaelewa tunasema nini. But wale watu wengine wanajua they don't belong to the same league as United and Liverpool, and they know that. That's why tunawachianga time wapige kelele mpaka wachoke. But Liverpool na Manchester United wako kwa ligi tofauti sana na hao wengine wa kelele. Anyway, tuachie hapo, tutazidi kuongea ligi ikiendelea.
Okay, a good friend Gypsy Corner amesema ni kama amefurahishwa na hiyo mambo, tusiende kwanza. So maybe as we wait, something else that we can touch on. N here is saying that EPL is sweet when you are supporting a good team. But do I say? Okay, yeah,
Erika Yaga pia anasema ati football it's just Manchester and Man U forever. Erika Yaga pia anaelewa mambo ya EPL.
Ni vile hamjapatana na watu Arsenal. You know, watu Arsenal wana feeling ni kama the world belongs to them. Na ile kelele yote yenye wanapigia watu hapa hivi.
Muulize tu hiyo kelele yote anapiga, muulize tu. Yeye ashaiona Arsenal ikilinua kikombe EPL lini. Na najua most of them were born after Arsenal lifted their last
ati wamebeba. Okay.
Walibeba, yeye ashaiona na macho wakibeba, uliza tu yeye hivyo.
Umewahi ona wakibeba?
Apart from kusikia.
Watabeba kwa sababu
sio wachana wata. Tunaongea kuhusu kushaiona na macho wakibeba, wachana mambo wata.
Tulikuwa tuna striker, sasa tulinunua striker.
Wewe ngoja utaona tu.
And is saying Arsenal ni kelele tupu.
Striker ndio
tulikuwa.
Sasa tumenunua strikers.
Pardon?
Tumenunua strikers. Ndio tulikuwa tumekosa.
Oh.
Yes.
Kwani last amukuwa na striker last season?
Yes, tulikuwa tuna striker ile ambayo iko strong.
Wachana strong. Hakukuwa na striker.
Sasa tumenunua strong.
And what make you think that we are strong?
Sasa tutapata hiyo kikombe lazima.
Wacha nikwambie. Hiyo mambo tulisikia wakina Ashavin wakikuja, tukasikia kina Van Persie wakikuja, tukasikia kina Deba wakiwa, tukasikia sasa what is new? Hata kina Walcott alikuwa anakimbia kama pikipiki ya kuibiwa. Umekuwa na watu hapo ambao hata this guy is nobody. You can't compare him with those guys, but they never lifted the EPL. So I don't know what magic you are going to use this season to lift the trophy, but ni sawa.
Waje tuione mbele. Sasa kila mtu amenunua wachezaji ambao watacheza mpira.
Wamekuwa kucheza mpira. Sio wadau. Kwani umekuwa kucheza nini?
Sisi striker ndio tulikuwa tuingizi mpira ambayo mpaka unaona tunaenda ile tunashindwa, saa nyingine tunaenda draw. Sasa hiyo draw ndio ilikuwa inatuweka chini.
Can I tell you my brother?
Yeah.
Hii season hata namba 2 mtamaliza. Mkimaliza vizuri sana itakuwa namba 4.
Hatuwezi kuwa namba 4 tena.
I'm telling you this season. Last time you messed it up. This season, wacha sasa nikuwe serious. Wacha this season sasa. Unaona Chelsea? Na Man City. One of them. Alafu na Liverpool kidogo hao ni defending. Kama wewe ni defending champion, hata Jipsikona anajua. Kila mtu ana train akikuangalia. So Liverpool is going to struggle because they are defending champions, but Chelsea and Man City are going to become very strong this season. That's why I'm telling you Arsenal might end up finishing number 4. Wakijaribu sana number 4. Lakini kama hawajajaribu sana tutabadilishana nao waende 15, sisi tukuje hiyo number 4. Anyway,
kama tukishindwa kabisa tutaenda number 3.
Number 4. 3 hamtaweza. Na mkicheza mmalize namba 6 muende conference.
Hatuwezi kufika huko kutoka miaka hiyo yote. Tulikuwa tunafika namba 4. Hatuchafika ile namba 6, ile 6 tulikuwa ilifanyika sijui mara moja tu.
Hata sisi tulikuwa tunasemanga hivyo hii miaka yote hatujaimaliza namba 15, tulimaliza namba 15.
Lakini Man United ilifika ngapi?
Ndio nakwambia hata tukifika namba 19
Kocha chifu walikuwa namba ngapi?
Tutawapatia miaka nyingine 100 ndio mfikie zile vikombe tuko nazo.
Ilikuwa namba ngapi kwanza?
Namba 15.
Namba 15.
Yeah.
Sasa 15 watu ma champion wanakuwa namba 15.
What is wrong with that? I'm asking you, how many EPLs do you have? How many? Umepoteza sauti.
Wajua ule mzee alikuwa huko
zamani. Ngoja jibu swali kwanza, wachana na mambo ya mzee. Mko na EPL ngapi? Zile unajua? Unajua ngapi mko na? How many Champions League have you ever seen with your eyes as Arsenal?
3.
Have you ever seen a Champions League trophy with your eyes?
3.
Arsenal.
Sasa ile mzee tenga ni
my friend, do you understand football? Do you understand what we are talking about? I'm asking you, how many Champions League have you seen as Arsenal? With your eyes. Wachana mambo ya mwaka 30, jibu swali ile na kuuliza, how many Champions League have you seen with your eyes?
Kombe sifiko.
Ziko wapi? Kwanza ziko Anfield. Ziko nini? Ziko Emirates ama ziko wapi? Arufu ya Champions League ishafika Emirates.
Angojea utaviona.
Ngoja jibu, answer my question, my friend. Have you ever seen any trophy looking like a Champions League trophy at Emirates?
Utaviona.
When was that? Ever since you were born, have you ever seen?
Hivi karibuni utaviona.
Wacha karibuni, tunaongea kuhusu have you ever seen. Wachana hivi karibuni, have you?
Let's call it a day. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anyway, thank you so much Gypsy Corner for the gift. We really appreciate. And to watu wase nalo sijali, just give walete kwangu one by one, utawaweka kwa place yao. Wasikupigie kelele hapo.
Timu yake na Tarau Arsenal. Siku moja
mtakutana. Nikwambia ukweli, you don't know anything called Champions League. Kazi yako ni kupiga kelele, ukiona FA inapita kule, unapiga kelele, but you don't understand the glory of Champions League. It has never been played. It has never been played at Emirates. You don't understand. So why should I even discuss with you football? Anyway, tuonane kesho Bwana Mark, and thank you so much our viewers. We really appreciate your support. Na tuko pamoja. Asante.
Okay, thank you so much, Barak. I know how passionate you are when we are talking matters of football. I really appreciate the fact that you've given a clarification, of course, on what we are expecting on Chan as well. That is on Sunday, and a clarification on what we should expect. And again, you've also given us what we should expect. Again, Sunday ni kama tutakuwa na so many games. Apart from the Kenyan one, of course, tutakuwa na the real game that we are waiting to see as well. And we are hoping. Barak, nilishakwambia we have a big screen. That is the only screen that can give you a good if you want to watch football. Remember, nilishakwambia mahali kuna screen. I hope hujasahau.
Kuna profesa mmoja aliniambia we shall see.
That's okay. Yeah, so to our viewers, allow me to really appreciate each one of you. Gypsy Corner, Apopsy, NON, and everyone who has engaged us at the comment section. We really appreciate. To Gypsy Corner, always we appreciate the fact that you've been assisting this channel in several ways. And all we can say is thank you, and we pray to you that, of course, may God give you the grace and may God add you more. And again, to our good friends who are also commenting and giving us their take, we really also appreciate being there for us, giving us your take, and also, just giving us your take is a good thing. Because of your comments, we always get something to say. You assist us in several ways, and we really appreciate. Thank you so much. And NONs, thank you so much as well. Gypsy Corner, niliambia Barak tuko na big screen mahali. So over the weekend, I'm hoping that he's going to find time akuje nimuonyeshe mahali kuna the big screen. Hiyo hapo kwa big screen ndo tukitazama vizuri, labda mambo itakuwa sawa. So allow me to take this opportunity to wish you all well. This is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're new, kindly like and subscribe. And to everyone who has supported us, thank you so much. Allow me to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much. And may God bless you. See you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye-bye for now.